Hello everyone, my name is Elena Shvab and I'm a head designer based in London. Welcome to my studio. Today is Wednesday live, and I would like to talk about different styles of trimming the edge of the hat because there could be all different kinds of styles and ways how you can trim the edge. It's quite important technical aspect that we all have to think about before we start designing our hats and making our hats, or it's a solution that we have to come up with after we already made a hat and suddenly we realize that we have to trim the edge of the hat somehow because we didn't really think about it before. This is something that I think the issue that happens mostly to beginners because they mostly focusing on making a hat and not all the steps ahead, making, trimming, covering the wire, stitching the petersham ribbon, whether we need or don't need to put the lining underneath, ways of attachment and so on. It comes with experience, and when I started making hats, I also ignored that fact because I was so much focusing on making and enjoying the process. But with time, I realized that I have to think about all the steps ahead and think about the trimming the edge because it's also quite an important detail of design and style, which cannot be separated from the hat itself. So I am surrounded by quite many hats here, and I would like to show you different examples and show you different ways of trimming of the edge, and also explaining a little bit why I decided to trim the edge this way and not another way. So I want to start with, first of all, welcoming everyone who joined. Thank you so much. Please do say hello in the chat. I would like to hear from you. And if you have any questions, as usual, you can ask while we have this live session. I would be happy to reply to any questions, any inquiries, or whatever you have on your mind, hat related. So as I said, let's talk about the first example. The first example is my fedora hat, which I didn't finish, so I don't think it's going to ever be finished. It was an order, a bespoke order for my customer who wanted a hat with two different colors of the brim to match his outfit because he had a red outfit and he wanted to color match it. So I created this hat, but I decided it was a sample, so then I made a different hat for him. But this I still have, and right now this is quite an amazing example just to show you what I mean about trimming the edge, because as we know, the technical things that we all know of blocking. So we either block a crown and a brim together, or we block them separately, depending again on the design, depending on the head blocks we have and what kind of style of the hat we're aiming for. So this particular hat, I had to make it in two different parts because of the technical issues of the head blocks, because my brim head block had a hole in the middle, so there's no other way but to block two parts separately. So going back from what I started, the edge. So as you can see, there's a wire. The wire is required and needed in order to keep the shape, especially for this particular shape of the hat. I need a wire to keep the brim's shape. So you have to stitch the wire, and there's no other way, but you have to cover it at the end in order to hide all the stitches and to hide the wire itself, because let's face it, it doesn't really look that great and fabulous unless obviously it's part of your design, which also can be. So what are different ways that you can trim the edge? So first of all, it's a petersham ribbon. It's one of the most common and sensible ways of trimming the edge. Petersham ribbon or any other gross grain ribbon. It looks like that. This is petersham ribbon. It comes in different colors, in different widths, different designs, even sometimes patterns. So what you do is you cover the edge with petersham ribbon, just right on the edge, just like that. So you have to locate it the way that it's same width on both sides, so it looks great. And that's the way how you trim the edge. So the color could be different as well. Color of the petersham ribbon also part of the design. So you can either go with black to make as part of the color, or make it yellow in this case, or you might want to experiment with other colors. So this is another design thing that you should think before even starting the hat, because maybe you also want to create lining, which is a purple color. So it color matches with the lining underneath, with the edge, the trim edge, the headband, and so on. Or, for example, this hat, a boat hat, the way I trimmed it is I also put petersham ribbon around it. So I decided to go with black as, you know, as part of the design, because I didn't want it to be different color, because as a design feature, I only used a little bit of ivory petersham just to create a little bit of highlight, a balance between black and a little bit tone of ivory to make it a bit softer. And if I put ivory here, so it's going to be absolutely different design, and I didn't want to make it too heavy. So I went with black petersham, and obviously I covered the wire. The wire is inside because, you know, something has to hold this big brim shape. See, and obviously it's stiffened really well. It's headband, so it doesn't come on my head. Oh, that's the back. So yeah, so I couldn't just leave the wire, so I had to cover it with petersham ribbon, obviously. One of the another solutions I could go for is also petersham ribbon, but a wider one. But this is obviously part of the design. This is how you vision the hat, how it looks as a final piece. Sometimes you don't want to trim the edge you don't want to decorate the edge with anything. You just want to leave it clean, like this hat. So I don't have wire anywhere. And it's just this. I decorated the brim with metallic foil. So obviously, if I cover anything at the edge, it's not gonna look nice, and I want a clean finish. So my solution is to stiffen the hat really well, especially the part of the brim, so that it holds its shape. And also because it's curved here, it also holds the shape really, to making it really strong. So for this particular hat, you might just leave it as it is, but don't forget to stiffen the hat, so that stiffen at least helps to keep the shape, because with time, if it's not stiffened enough, the shape is gonna, you know, the hat is gonna lose the shape, and the brim is gonna become quite soft, and the shape is gonna look like this, basically. So another solution for felt hat that I made, well, it's not exactly just felt, it's felt and fabric. So I designed it with beautiful burgundy color underneath and black and white, really beautiful tweed on top. So it's quite classy, but it has sort of like really nice feature underneath. So it's like modern style and a modern approach together. And just imagine if you can go for slightly different color, like pink or yellow, or I don't know, ivory, which makes it more classic, but still, there are a lot of ways of playing with the color underneath the brim. But then again, you still have to cover the edge somehow. And for this particular design, I decided not to go for petersham ribbon because I wanted the fabric flow from the top underneath the hat, so you don't see basically where the fabric starts, where the fabric ends, so it always looks in harmony. And if you put anything else, like petersham ribbon, they usually come with patterns, but not the same as the fabric. So I decided that for this particular hat, I'm going to create a bias strip using the same fabric and just cover it around. So it becomes a really nice design because it goes underneath the hat, and also it covers the covers the edge and the wire inside, so it becomes invisible, and the style looks really, really amazing. I hope you like it. Yes, and then I have this lining underneath, which is black, so everything becomes as a conversation between colors on top, colors underneath, and this wine color, which becomes a feature of the hat. So this is about felts, and I have this one, which I talked about this hat in my previous live session. So if you go on my YouTube channel, you can see my last video, which I was talking about the style and how to wear the hat, and the reason why I have two combs here. So basically it's so that I can wear the hat on both sides. And again, here I do have wire inside. It helps to hold the shape, but you can't see it. And it's not trimmed with petersham ribbon. It's same as the hat before, this white and black hat. Same way, I decided to cover the fabric, to cover the entire shape with the fabric, and to put it underneath. Basically, it goes slightly here inside. Another reason is that when you wear the hat, you can't really see the petersham ribbon, so it just makes the edge very clean, neat, and accurate. But there is wire inside, and it's covered with fabric, also lining, and the petersham ribbon goes on top of the lining just to cover all these stitches, because frankly it doesn't really look nice when you see the stitches and the edge of the lining visible. So petersham just makes the hat looks really beautiful and neat. Although for brim hats, obviously I have petersham ribbon because it also covers all the stitches, but also it's so much more comfortable to wear on the hat, because sometimes some fabrics, especially straws, they're quite rough, tough, and quite uncomfortable and itchy. So when you have petersham ribbon inside, it just softens that that area, and it doesn't press the hat on your forehead. It's quite an important thing to do. And sometimes when you have a hat made of straw that is quite stiff, you might want to put a layer of a soft fabric inside, like a synthetic felt or a wool felt, just to soften this area, so it's much more comfortable for you or for your clients, whoever you're making hats for, to wear. Just like a little thing, but it does make a huge difference. So this is a little bit about felt hats, shortly, is because obviously you can create even more different ways of trimmings, like different fabrics, petershams, even making edge out of felt. I mean, so many creative, or just creating edge with stitching, I don't know, creative threads, like yarns around the wire. It also can be very creative way of trimming the edge. Let's talk about straws and a little bit about straws. If you have any questions, do ask. In the meantime, this is another hat. This is made of paper straw, knotted paper straw. I really love it. I love the texture. And so how about this one? This is also, there is a wire inside to keep the shape, but I didn't trim the edge with petersham ribbon, even though I could have, but I decided again to keep the edge clean because I don't want any additional noise. By noise, I mean decorations on this side, because I really love the straw as it is, and I don't want to add anything besides just the decoration, so that all the attention goes to this part of the decorations and a silver headband. And imagine if you add more decorations here, so basically you're going to have too much of the things going on there. So that's why I folded the straw underneath and I stitched it with a sewing machine, or you can do hand stitch. Sometimes I also put a little bit of glue underneath just to hold the edge, and then while the straw is in place, I go with the sewing machine so it doesn't move too much. Just makes it easier for me. But if you do anything with the glue, you have to remember that it has to be very neat, accurate, so you don't see the glue all over the hat, because with some materials the glue does not come off. And it's a shame, because after you made a whole hat, and after hours and hours, sometimes days of making a hat, and then you just accidentally put a piece of a little bit of glue somewhere and doesn't come off, it's quite annoying, because you have to start all over. This is another example. So it's the same shape, as you can see, but it looks so different because different materials, different decorations, but the shape is quite the same. And if, for example, here I covered the fabric underneath, so that all this area looks clean and neat, here I decided to cover the edge and the wire that goes right here with, if you can see, there's a cinema bias strip, and it goes all the way around. And because it's ivory, on the ivory base, you can't really see it, so it, unless it's like really, really close, but it's quite the same colors, you can't really see it. And because I have so many decorations on the edge, I didn't really need to leave the whole area neat, like here, because my decorations on this side, and all of that is also part of the design. So here I cover the edge with a lot of different decorations, so it doesn't make any sense to leave the part to hide the trim underneath. Another way of trimming hats, the edge of the hats, is, here again I folded everything inside. It also very much depends on the shape as well, because it allows you to, during the blocking process, you sort of like fold the material underneath and it stays there. So it's kind of come as natural that you tuck the cinema straw underneath, you keep it there, and you just stitch the petersham ribbon and the lining inside, and you keep all this area clean and neat, because I really didn't want any ribbon to take any attention. So I hope you can imagine that if, for example, I stitched any ribbon here, it would just make the design so different, and then attention would be on the bow and the stripe here, unless of course it's part of your design and you wanted to color match this line with the bow, or you don't have the bow but just the beret and you wanted some feature and it goes right along the edge. Again, it's part of the design, it's part of your choice, but this is something you would think about even before you start blocking the hat, even before you started stretching the material over your hat blocks. Think about how you want to trim the edge, how you want to do the design, how you want to decorate the hat, what's going to be the most important feature of the hat, that the attention goes right onto it. Because, it's not just about making, it's also about making and designing. That's what makes a hat a hat. It involves technical skills of making, and also imagination and designing part as obviously as much important as the technical skills. All right, so the next one is going to be this hat. And again, as together with the previous hats, all I wanted to do is just to create very neat and clean base, and the whole design and attention is going to go onto the decoration. It also can be worn in two different sides and ways, and slightly different. The purple is here, and then the purple is here, which makes it, depending how you really want to wear the hat and on which side of your head. So I would prefer to wear it like this. And yeah, so again, as you see, I didn't want anything to distract the attention from the bow. Very neat, clear base that it color matches with one of the sides, with one of the parts of the design, and that's it. Classic, very neat, very clean, very very accurate, and then you can wear the same color dress and maybe a little a brooch or a necklace or something, but just very minimalistic for this particular hat. And then I would put the lining inside, and the petersham ribbon is going not on the edge, but like few millimeters underneath there, so that when you wear the hat, you can't really see the petersham ribbon, because if you stitch it right here, for this particular shape, you might see the petersham ribbon. So try and stitch it a little bit inside there, like just a few millimeters, not more than that. Another 2 hats, and then that's it. Okay, so another hat I would like to show you is this fabulous boat hat. That obviously it's one color and color matching flowers, a little bit of gold for the leaves. Again, I wanted to create very neat, accurate hat without too much of distraction for design, but as well as I can hide the so basically for this particular hat, there's not much options. It's either you stitch the petersham ribbon around like the hats before, like this, for example, hatband with bias strip with fabric, or petersham ribbon, or bias strip with cinnamon straw, because you equally see the both sides, because you wear it slightly on the side, right? So you see both of the sides. So it doesn't matter whether you leave this part clean and then you fold the edge underneath and trim it inside. So that's why I'm using bias strips, cinnamon bias strips around, and I also choose to make it a bit wider than usual, because for other hats, for example, let's see, like the boat hat, it's 25 millimeters petersham ribbon, so it's basically about centimeter and something on one side and centimeter and something on the other side, so it's quite narrow. But here I decided to make it a bit wider as part of my design, so I would make the cinnamon bias strip a little bit wider than usual, and it's just my personal choice. I just like when it's a little bit different than my other hats. It's just playing a little bit with the width. It's just the design feature. It doesn't make any difference whether you choose a wider or narrower bias strip, but it's just your personal choice of how wide you want the petersham. Why do I always say petersham? Cinnamon bias strip. And the last hat, one of my favorites, to be honest, although I do love all of my hats. So, this one. This hat was designed for Royal Ascot, and I absolutely love it. Again, very clean, very neat. Just the shape, a little bit of veil, and not too much of veil, just, half face. And the biggest, the focus of the hat is obviously the decorations, black and gold. So here, obviously, because the brim goes slightly curvy, I decided that I want to keep this part of the hat neat and clean from any trimmings. So this hat in particular, I decided to fold the cinnamon straw underneath and then stitch the petersham ribbon. Again, petersham ribbon, cinnamon bias strip, if you can see it. So the cinnamon from the crown, from the brim, goes underneath, covering the wire, which is obviously right there because something has to hold the shape, and you need wire 1.2 millimeters. I'm using millinery millinery cotton covered wire. I think it's the best. It's my personal choice. Obviously, there's so many different types of wires. And then I create by strip, the narrowest that I can. So it's 1 centimeter. And I stitch it underneath here. So it does two things. First of all, it allows me to keep this side clean, neat, and accurate, and then hide all the mess of stitching there underneath the hat. So when you wear the hat, because of its angle, you can't really see what's happening there, like up front. You might see a little bit at the back, right? But you can't really see what's happening underneath from the outside, and that makes sort of like a little magic of how the how the hat is made and how it's trimmed on the edge. And I think it's so smart and such a great technique, allowing you to trim the edge slightly differently than usually we used to trim the hats on the edge, like fedoras and so on. Obviously, of course, sometimes it very much depends on the hat blocks, how the edge of the hat blocks is designed, but you can always cut on the edge without folding the material. I hope it does make sense, all of it. But that's the technical, and if you have blocked a hat or two already, you would understand and have a slight understanding of how it's kind of done on at the edge of the hat, because sometimes it's either very flat or sometimes it has these little gaps where you can fold the fabric up or down depending on hat block, and that's how you fold the edge and you stitch the wire inside. We can talk about this on some other live video about different hat blocks and the edges if you're interested. If you do, please say yes, or interested, or do suggest different subjects for whatever you would like to hear or to learn, or for me to share. And just wanted to say thank you again for everyone who joined, and I hope this live was useful, informative, and you enjoyed it and learned something about it. It was quite rushed, and I hope that I wasn't too too fast, but I have a class starting in 10 minutes, but I still wanted to go live and share some useful information with you guys. But also want to say that I do have a membership program for everyone who'd like to learn more detailed techniques, and the link to join is in this video. And why I'm saying that is because this Friday at 5:30 p.m. I'm starting a live session for members only about how to block a cinema straw hat, and we're gonna learn how to block a hat similar to this one. So we're gonna learn how to block the crown, we're gonna learn how to block the brim, how to do the bias strip, cinema bias strip, how to stitch the wire, stitch the petersham, every little step that is needed in order to make a perfect cinema straw hat. So if you're interested, please join my membership and join me live on Friday, 5:30 p.m. UK time. If you have any questions, please do leave the comments. I'll get back to you and I'll reply to any of your comments and give you more information. In order to join, there's a link in the description of this video. You hit the join button, and there are two options. You choose member option, and just subscribe. There are already quite a few very useful videos in there, and every week, every 2 weeks, there will be more very detailed tutorials that will be available only on the membership channel. So thank you so much, and thank you for all your messages. And hello from Cameroon. Hello from London. Hi, Nadia. Yes, please. So I think that's yes, please, 4 different hat blocks and the edges. So I'll try to do a live session very soon. Please subscribe to my channel, and please hit that notification button with a little bell so you don't miss my next session, because sometimes I go live when I have the time and not really planning. So it's the best way to know where I'm live going live, or when there are any videos uploaded, so you can go on my YouTube channel and just rewatch if you can't join me live. Well, thank you so much, and I'm really grateful for you for joining me. And as usual, I hope it was informative and you liked the video, and I hope to see you next, and especially on Friday, because it's going to be an amazing session and you will learn a lot of technical skills and techniques how to block a hat and to create a really perfect finishing shape of the hat. Thank you again. Wishing you a wonderful day, and see you soon. Bye.